Hey guys, Jarek and Komodo here, going to be doing some more Halo 5, except for this time we're doing some big team battle. We got strongholds on a really cool map. So, for most older Halo players, you will immediately recognize this. This is a remake of Headlong, which they also remade for the, oddly enough, the Halo Anniversary multiplayer, which really doesn't make any sense because this map was in Halo 2, not Halo 1, so I don't know why they remade this one out of that. But hey, this map's back. I'm pretty happy about it. I actually really like this map. We could use more old Halo maps, because I don't like any of the Halo 5 maps. Like, I just prefer the old layouts of them. But yeah, I'm going to go on and answer a question that I don't remember who asked this or where, so if you asked this in the comments, I apologize. But I wanted to talk about it. The comment said something along the lines of, what is your least favorite thing about your favorite games? I have so many things I could talk about, and wow, I sound like I bitch about everything. Maybe I do. Whatever.
No comment.
Well, you can't speak.
What?
Trying to keep a straight face. Yeah, so let's start with Pokemon. Change the way you capture Pokemon. Holy crap, capturing Pokemon is the most annoying thing to do. Why the fuck can't I just knock it out and throw a Pokeball at its ass? Like, please. Also, I got this kill. I don't know how I got this kill, but...
Specifically at its ass, though?
Well, maybe you gotta be precise. But yeah, it's the most annoying thing when you have a Pokemon at literally 1 HP and it's paralyzed, and you still have to throw 90 fucking Dusk Balls at it in the middle of night. It's silly. It's dumb. Like, I really think they need to rework how the capture system works. It's always annoyed the crap out of me, and it's such a frustrating experience to do everything that you need to do, but you have to rely on RNGesus for it to work. I don't know if you feel as passionate about it I do as that.
Not really, no. Capturing Pokemon has never been a big issue to me.
I mean very specific legendaries and stuff like that. Regular Pokemon's not too difficult.
Oh god. The ones from Gold and Silver. Fuck them.
Lugia wasn't too difficult to capture,
no,
but the ones that yeah, the ones that roamed throughout the map, those fuck dogs.
You know, I remember I don't remember the name of the move right now, but it's the one that keeps you from escaping battle. I used that on one of them. You know what it did the very next move? It ran away. I don't even know how that works.
Okay, here's the annoying thing about that. I know what move you're talking about, and I forgot what it's called. There is a move, you know, that makes it so they can't escape battle if that Pokemon's out. That Pokemon that used it has to be out still. But they can still use Roar and push you away from the battle.
Yeah, thing was, like I said, I used it, and literally when they had their chance to react, they just ran.
Those things are so irritating.
Yeah.
Like, really your best bet is just to throw quick balls at it. And again, hope for RNGesus. It's really annoying. I will say the quick balls are... I like the way those work. That's what she said. You're giving me this face like I'm trying not to laugh.
No, I'm done with you.
Seriously though, those things are really helpful. With a really high chance right at the beginning of the battle, you don't have any reason to not use them. Because it's like, what's the worst that happens? You don't capture the Pokemon on the first try, whatever, it was worth it. So... And you don't have to buy many of them, because you only throw it out once at the beginning of the battle. So pretty useful. Like, the only Pokeballs you should be buying are the Quick Balls and the Dusk Balls. If you don't know how Dusk Balls work, they give you a higher chance of capturing Pokemon either at night or in caves or some dark location. They're, I think, the same or a little higher than an Ultra Ball's capture rate. I believe they're higher than an Ultra Ball's. I'm not entirely sure on how it works, but they will give me the best results out of all of it. Assuming that you're actually trying to capture something at night, and if you're not, whatever, just change your DS's time. That works, if you didn't know. I don't even care, I'm not going to wait till night. But yeah, next game. Let's talk about Super Smash Bros. Melee and Project M. L canceling. I see no point to this. This is a pointless mechanic to me, because it's an extra button push that you need to do, and there's no reason to not do it. So why do I have to do it? Like, why can't I just not do it and have lower landing lag? Like, I see no reason to have to push an extra button. What's worse is that I'm playing Rivals of Aether and they don't have L canceling, they just have lower landing lag, which is great. But I've gotten into a habit of L canceling so much that I L cancel in that game, or I try to, and it results in me landing and then accidentally dodging. So, I do that, which is kind of annoying. I'm sure I'm not the only person that does that. I'm sure you probably agree with that, actually.
I hate L canceling.
It's like, I can do it, but it really hurts new people going into the game because it's another technical barrier that you have to overcome that's just kind of pointless. So I never quite understood why it's there. My logic, or my theory behind why L canceling was in Melee, was because they had all these animations done, and they looked good, and they didn't want to get rid of them, but they wanted the game to be faster anyway, so let's add in L canceling, because it was an official technique, like, that was supposed to be in the game. It was also in the N64 version. So, whatever. I still would prefer L canceling to be there if they're going to make landing lag, like, horribly slow like Brawl and Smash 4, so if only they could just make landing lag be quick, like, very little landing lag, I'd be happy. Halo. Talking about Halo now. The Flood. And to a lesser extent, Prometheans. These enemies are not fun to fight. I'm sure you will echo that statement.
I didn't like the Prometheans. I didn't mind the Flood too much.
Granted, you have only played Halo 4, and the Prometheans in that game were really obnoxious. They're a little less obnoxious in Halo 5, but they're so repetitive. And a lot of the enemies are just really tanky, and tanky enemies just are not fun to fight. So, why is it there? I don't know. It's like 343 tried. They did, but it didn't work. I don't like fighting Prometheans, and I don't like fighting the Flood either. The Flood is, especially in Halo 1, miserable. There's always, Halo 1 through 3, that one Flood level. You got the Flood, you have Quarantine Zone, and then you have Cortana. These are all terrible. I hate them all. So, if they got rid of the Flood, I could change that about Halo 1, or just pretend the library didn't exist. We would all be happier people. The next one, this just kind of goes about all shooters. Claymores. I hate Claymores so much. You know, I don't see the skill in them. They're just cheap, free kills. You put a Claymore down when you spawn, and someone eventually runs by it. I mean, sure, you can find a better location to throw a Claymore down, but in general, screw that nonsense. Like, oh man, you got so much more skill than me because you blew me up with a Claymore. I don't see the skill involved with this.
Yes.
So, I've gotten... That was a new assassination. I hadn't seen it yet. That was the first time I had seen that. I've unlocked a few assassination animations. I think I like my other one, where he, like, stabs him in the neck and then literally just throws him by the knife, which is way cooler, so I'm going to go back to that one. But I wanted to see what this one was. By the way, messed up spawns. I almost got that guy. But they spawn, like, right in front of me. And these grenades! Like, good lord, these grenades. I really wanted to cap this point, so I went back into it. And I just kept catching more grenades. Maybe it wasn't here, but no, it was here. Like, can't avoid them. So frustrating. Next game, Fire Emblem. Micromanaging. There is so much micromanaging in Fire Emblem that gets very, very old. And you don't have an extensive past with Fire Emblem, but you've played the games. And when I'm talking about micromanaging, I'm specifically talking about having to worry about all of the weapons you need to deal with all of your units. That gets real old.
Yeah, I thought it kind of weird that in a game like that you'd have to worry about weapon durability. It just seems...
Well, that makes sense within the context of that game just because some weapons are so amazingly overpowered, like the Brave Swords and whatnot. So, if there wasn't any weapon durability, then, you know, how do you balance it in? But, I mean, to that statement, they are actually getting rid of this in the next Fire Emblem game.
Good. I mean, okay, look. I've played other games. Other, you know, turn-based strategy games, like, say, Final Fantasy Tactics, Advance Wars. You don't have to worry about your tank breaking down and needing to have a mechanic look at it between fights. That's just... Why?
But you also don't get, like, electric swords that can hit people from a unit away and stuff like that. It's kind of really hard to compare
tanks.
the two.
And then you have, like, weapons and even abilities that you can hit people from, like, a square away in, like, Final Fantasy Tactics. So...
Yeah, but the amount of things you can change are nowhere near as much as the weapons. Like, the weapon variety in that game is huge. So that was just kind of, how do we have weapon variety and make some things not overpowered and underpowered?
Yeah, but I'm sorry. I don't want to stock up on weapons.
Yeah, no, I don't either.
Every game I have ever played, every RPG of any kind, you don't stock up on weapons unless it's something you like throw at an enemy.
No, it's like, I'm not arguing for the mechanic, I just understand why it exists. I don't like it, because I don't like having to deal with all of these different swords, and I need to make sure that my units have the correct weapons, and if I have good enough weaponry for it. Like, it's just annoying. Like, I don't like micromanaging, I just want to play the damn game. So, again, they are getting rid of this in the next Fire Emblem game. I need to read up on what they're doing again, but what I read before, I remember being okay with it, and I don't remember how they're specifically doing it. So, hey, I guess they're listening to people complaining about that, and as much as I'll complain about the older games having this, they're fixing it. Granted, I didn't really care much for Awakening, so I don't know. We'll just see how that goes. The next one, Metro 2033. Those fucking bubble fucks. The amoebas. Those annoying-ass enemies.
Towards, like, the end of the game, right?
Yeah, those radioactive balls. Those things are so irritating, that whole section of the game. Apparently, it wasn't supposed to be never-ending spawns, but they couldn't really fix it. It wasn't supposed to be that way, and it just ended up being that way. That was the worst part of any Metro game, like, by far. It was super, super annoying. The next one, let's talk about Rainbow Six Vegas. Pretty much everything about that game. That game is such a buggy game. But as far as the gameplay goes, I don't think I'd want them to change anything. Aside from maybe nerfing the snipers a little bit, because those snipers are so overpowered. Yeah, like, I love the gameplay, but good lord, it's such a buggy game. Like, I don't know how much you played it. How many hours have you put into it?
Probably, I don't know, not as much as you.
I have, collectively, when it comes to Vegas 2, I've probably put somewhere around about 1,500 hours into that game.
Jeez.
Well, I used to play it competitively. So, I put a lot of hours into it, and it's such a buggy game. The sound design is real buggy and doesn't work properly half the time. Especially if you go to the campaign. If you go into the campaign, then, like, their words aren't syncing up to what they're saying. Like, their mouths are moving, but nothing's happening. And then they start talking over each other, because I wasn't supposed to do that. The game is so buggy. Seriously, it is. I would also like to point out that we're in the midst of, like, a really big comeback right here. I thought we were going to lose this game. But yeah, I don't know if you have anything to add to that, really.
Not to those games in particular.
Aside from everything with Vegas. Like, it's such a vague, like, fix everything about this game except for the gameplay thing.
But for me, my first thought was, what's my favorite game? It's Castlevania. What do I hate about Castlevania? It's the one of the pioneers of the tried and true Metroidvania, style of gameplay. And I'm not saying anything with that needs to change. It's just, it's been the same thing since Symphony of the Night. You get the double jump, you get a slide, it's basically just get these specific things that we've used in every game ever to progress your,
That's such a hard thing to, and I agree with you for start, but that's such a hard thing to fix, because it's like, how do you fix it in a way that makes it feel different but still feel like Castlevania and doesn't piss off the fan base? And I could say the same thing about Zelda at this point too, because ever since Ocarina of Time, they've used the same blueprint for every game.
It's true. And it's gotten a little old, but I'm interested in seeing what they do with the new Zelda game coming out for the Wii U.
I honestly haven't played vast majority of the Zelda games when it comes to it. Like, I beat Ocarina of Time, I beat Majora's Mask. I didn't play the ones that came out on Wii. At the time, I didn't really care about the Wii, and nor did I really care about the motion controls. I'm interested in playing it now, but then I would also have to set up motion controls on my computer because I can't go back to not using Dolphin. Like, once you use Dolphin, you just can't... Like, you have to play Wii games this way. Because better resolution, anti-aliasing, all these other great things, like, I can't go back. But yeah, here we are ranting about our favorite games that apparently suck, according to me, even though they're amazing. Hope you guys have enjoyed some Halo 5 gameplay, and I'll see you next time.